Whenever Michael Reagan has to have his favorite scene somewhere, his regulars begin angling. No, gratification is always a tragedy for me. His regulars are shown by murdering C. Kennedy and Alexander Dugan's daughter that they will get their favorite scene somewhere in one way or another for Michael Reagan. And they want Michael Reagan's favorite scene somewhere right now. What this probably means is that Michael Reagan has chewed to shreds another abandoned carpet. They've tried to calm him down with cheese, but they failed. And never reluctantly, they've arrived on the set demanding Michael Reagan's favorite scene some more. You can probably imagine how humiliating it is for me to have to try to protect myself from rapists and slasher homicide lists at Amnesty International by being the laughing stock who was castrated by Trump and Fripp for failure to date rape, for refusal to date rape. Because I refused and left her a virgin, they chemically castrated me because, as they put it, the boys want to fight. It was too pacifistic, so they made me a eunuch. And even knowing that Michael Reagan isn't getting his favorite scene yet, Michael Reagan's favorite scene is even more degrading. But let's go through what he needed to do to get through his favorite scene somewhere. He had to say that Jimmy Carrey was, in the parlance of the Pittsburgh police, sniffing. I'll explain to you what that means in layman's terms. Technically, sociologists and child psychologists call it sniffing when they talk to police. But usually they classify it as inhalants use. What really happened was I was brutally tortured and gassed with a poor man's ether. Michael Reagan refuses to accept that. He uses the Pittsburgh police lingo, the child psychology lingo when working with the Pittsburgh police, and says, I was sniffing. What that means is I was brutally tortured and gassed with inhalants. The NAACP calls this a provincial norm because they selected me too as a white child for the demonstration project. And they say this didn't violate my rights as a battered, traumatized 12-year-old who was forced, among other things, by Ronnie Zasinski to swallow nitroglycerin, which may have led to my heart murmur. They forced me, and they call it a provincial norm. Who in their right mind would give a child for whom Pepsi was too strong, for whom pizza was too strong, who was classified by his mother as a picky eater because of the swoons that strong foods put him in, nitroglycerin, and force him to swallow it, and then say he did it for fun? The day this happened, I was taken to Sidney Busis, a Holocaust survivor, who said we were unable to get reliable pure tone results. Well, this was clearly an insider gag about removing the bitter nib of the Neva starlet's virginity prior to her induction in a coffin to the seduction of said queerball. It was probably very true. I was in a state of trauma when he examined me that day. I was 11 years old. These people tortured me for years, terrorized me for years, in cold blood in front of the entire faculty of the school, who would run to their offices, would run to their cars to get away from the same gang who they knew I was afraid was going to kill me, and they never looked into it, never investigated, never talked to the police. Because the police would say they're just having fun. It's a provincial norm. They're sniffing. Number five, knew that I went to the police and tried to report sons of the police officers on duty for stealing things and trying to incriminate me and to get the material that they stole returned to the victims. They knew that, and they lied. They said I never went to the police. Why didn't I report it? Did I file a report? Nobody even knows what file a report means. I've gone to the police and said, could you give me a report to file? And they said, what the hell are you talking about? Get out of here. So Michael Reagan needs his favorite scene to move. He needs it. And O'Bannon can't afford another carpet to be chewed and mauled by him demanding his favorite scene. You need your favorite scene, don't you, Michael Reagan? I'll tell you again what his favorite scene was. I woke up 9 years old, covered with something painfully dripping all over my face at a slumber party. I won't name names, but they said I got plaster. You know what that means? It means Michael Reagan craves hearing about Jimmy Carrey being Bugatti in his sleep at the age of 9. Ain't that something? And we elect his father president of the United States, and he says he has a right to do this to me. Ain't that something? That's really something. It's going to end up in a Jack Nicklaus film, I bet. People are going to applaud.